Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Woo! Okay, so I have to say I was not expecting that. I didn't expect what came after this. My partner was streaming and he stopped the stream to call me and show me this because I do follow Will and Jada. Will used to be one of my favorite actors when I was growing up, and I've been watching Jada's Red Table Talk stuff. I like Willow. They're weird, but I like hearing their perspective of things. My partner can't stand them, but I try to understand where they're coming from. I like to see where people are coming from. And then I heard about the whole entanglement thing, and that's actually how I got into the Red Table Talk, because I'm trying to say, what is going on? Will is the kind of person that everybody loves. And then you see something like this happen, and you're like, where did it go wrong? What kind of demonic puss did you insert yourself into to make you transform into a freaking harbinger?
That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
So, everyone was shocked to the point where people were like, it's fake. Will Smith is against violence and cussing and all this stuff. And then we hear Will Smith follow up after he walks off the stage. I like how he punches him. Like someone animated that and then he just walks away like Gus Fring, all elegant. Like he didn't just smack a bitch.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
The way that Chris Rock is just standing there for a solid moment, like, is this happening? Is this a joke?
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that was a lot to unpack. And even Chris Rock was standing up there like, what the fuck? He's like, damn, man. At least this will keep me relevant for a while. So here's what I think happened. My partner and I were talking about it, and from my partner's mouth, he claims that Will is upset that everyone is talking about his wife. And it's completely unreasonable because when you're a celebrity, which his wife chose to be, just like him, you are out in the spotlight. It's not like she's dying of cancer. Understandably, Jada Pinkett has alopecia. She said on her Red Table Talk, which a lot of people don't know if you don't follow her, that she was losing her hair. And that is a very sensitive topic for a lot of women who have that condition. And she says, you know what? We're owning it. We're owning the bald heads. Willow Smith shaved her head in solidarity with her mother. Was it a reason for him to flip out? I don't think that's what happened. I think that Will finally broke. Nobody does that until they break. And I think he was probably waiting for that to happen. This kind of feels like, what's that dude's name with the beard? Everybody calls him Cuck, and he just ruined himself because he used to be on Chatterbait or whatever. And you know that's gonna come out and you don't address it. He has been sitting there and taking all of this from what Jada was doing. And I think it finally broke him. I think he's internalized it and let her get away with it in terms of how she treats him. And then it just explodes. And Will Smith has even said that that's something he's had a habit of doing in his life, where on his documentary, where he would just keep things in, and it's not healthy. And that's what happens. I don't think it was right for him to do that. It was assault. And I do agree with people that he should have been escorted outside and not sit there. Everyone who's rich and entitled gets to do stuff like that and just be okay with it. But Will Smith is also someone who's very against violence. That is not how I expected him to handle something like that. If somebody was invading his personal space like he's done before, I could understand him slapping that person to be like, get off of me, stop trying to, come on to me. That's kind of weird. I didn't ask you to kiss my face. But going up there, walking up there, he did do that elegant walk though. Like, that was a gentleman walk. The way gentleman walked up there and then gentleman walked back after he just smacked someone, I just found that so hilarious. I don't know why. But it's very unreasonable. And it's also unreasonable that your wife has done all this stuff and you are constantly making yourself look bad for her. Also, as my partner put it, the problem with Will, as other people have said, these were my partner's words, is that Will is has always, and still is, trying to make a hoe out of a housewife. Now, I didn't know anything about Jada being a hoe, but she did say she didn't want to marry. And Will Smith wanted her. I think he saw her as, wow, there's this beautiful spirit woman who's gorgeous, and I have to have her, regardless of what she is. It's kind of like marrying a stripper. I'm not saying that Jada's a stripper, but it's kind of like marrying someone who's a stripper, and she's super, super beautiful, long, super legs, amazing body, and she strips. And you're like, oh, she's gonna be my wife, she's gonna love me, and when she goes out there and she keeps stripping for people or doing her lewd things she was always doing, and then you get upset, but then you can't get upset at her because that's who she was when you met her, but then you get upset when people start talking about the fact that you decide to choose someone like that. It's kind of out of pocket. The other thing is, I don't really watch the Oscars. I don't really know that much about the Oscars, but from what I can see, if they hire someone comedic, from what I know, Chris Rock is a comedian, you expect it to be like a comedy sketch. And when it's a comedy sketch, people make fun of people. Chris Rock has made fun of Jada before in 2016. He's made fun of other people. It's kind of unreasonable to go to a comedy session, and then when the comedian makes a joke about you, you get angry and go up and punch the comedian. Like, that doesn't make any sense. As I've told people before, I don't like being embarrassed. I don't like being the center of attention. But when I did go to a comedy sketch on the cruise that me and my family went to, me and my brothers, we sat in the first seat. All three of us are super introverted. But we sat in the front because we're like, you know what, YOLO. And of course, it was this Italian comedian. I don't remember what his name was, but he picked on everybody on the front row, and he also picked on us, and it was so funny, and I was laughing because it was funny, but I was also laughing because I was embarrassed, and the more embarrassed and red we turned is the more he did it, because he realized, yeah, part of the fun is making y'all embarrassed and making other people see that and making them feel embarrassed on our behalf. And we understood it was nothing to be taken personally. That same comedian on another night was humping my leg in front of people. Long story. But I was, for some reason, the chosen one that night, and I was just... like, that's the farthest thing. In any other time in my life, I probably would not allow that to happen, but it was part of the sketch. I didn't stab him in the face or mace him. It's part of the joke. It's so freaking embarrassing, but the context of the joke, it was funny. So for Will to have acted like that, I think something else was going on. I don't know. Hear me out. I think it is the case where he just had it up to here, and he wasn't expecting another celebrity to mention Jada. He was just probably anxious about someone saying something about Jada, and he was like, I dare someone to say something. I dare someone to say entanglement. Say the word entanglement. I don't care if you don't even use it in that context. Just say it and see what happens. I think he was already amping himself up for that. Being protective of his wife. Either that, or, which is what I really think happened, he saw that Jada was upset. Because at first, you're thinking maybe he didn't process the joke. But he was laughing until the camera cut away, and I think within that time, he saw Jada's face. Jada's face, who was not laughing. She looked very pissed. And I think that knowing Will Smith, he saw his wife upset, like, oh, Jada didn't find that funny. Gotta protect her honor. She's embarrassed in front of everyone. I gotta defend her honor by assaulting someone? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I can understand if he assaulted Jada or touched her inappropriately, but walking up there, like, making the whole boardwalk to go up there and punch someone and then gustering your way back to their seat is just kind of out of pocket, unless Chris is sleeping with Jada, which I don't think is the case. Please don't spread that. Like that, I don't think that's what happened. Did they have something before? Still, is it a reason to punch him? That just brought more attention to you, bad attention to you, and bad attention to your wife. And as my partner said, it seems as though, and I hate putting everything on Jada because Will is the one who chose her, but it almost seems as though it's Jada is turning him into this person that he's strongly against, like the kind of person that he doesn't even like. And I feel honestly bad for him. Like, it's so sad to see. I feel bad for Chris Rock, who was freaking rocked by that interaction, pun intended. He was trying so hard to recover.
His name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay.
He's just trying to process what the hell just happened. He's like, did I just get smacked by Will Smith? I don't know whether to be honored or scared or to laugh. Like, it's just so much going on. And then you realize, you know, you're like, was he joking? And then you see a look on his face and you're like, he's not acting. That's, I don't know what's going on there. Was this a freaking organized ploy to stay relevant? I have no idea. Will Smith's also older, so he's probably a lot more grumpier. I know men get like that when they get older. I don't know, dude. It's just bad. And people had said this when the entanglement thing happened, even though it was years ago, it happened before August came out and said something about it, which honestly, I understand that he's younger and immature. Jada shouldn't have chose someone. There should have been some kind of NDA or something if these people are going to be doing that. Kind of messed up for him to come out and do that, but people were saying that Will should leave Jada. I don't know if they signed a prenup, so he might not want to do that. Will also, from his own mouth, does not like to give up on things. He didn't want to give up on his first marriage until the woman said, hey, I don't want this. I'm unhappy, whatever. We don't know what the situation was for that. We do know that Will is very prideful, sometimes in good ways, sometimes in bad ways. And he's not perfect either, and he likes to fix things. He has this kind of personality that everybody loves, and he's very loving towards everyone, but he always wants to know that he's been successful with the people that he loves. And sometimes some people can be like that to the point where they become smothering. You're not willing to let go when something is broken. He has to fix it. He has to protect it, because if he doesn't, then he's failed. And in so many words, that's basically what he said. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but that's basically what he said. You can go back and look at the Red Table Talks. You can go back and look at his documentary. He doesn't like to fail, and nobody likes to fail. You don't want to think that, hey, I could have fought for my family and I didn't fight for my family. And I think he sees that like, hey, we have these kids. He already had a kid with the first wife, but they have these two other kids, Jaden and Willow, and he doesn't want to fight that. So he's like, you know what? He was ready to dump Jada at one point, and they worked it out, and he stayed with her. They worked it out. But then I think if Jada's a celebrity too, and she wants to be out there, part of being a celebrity is people are gonna jab jokes at you. It's not like Chris Rock came and said, yo, Jada, she murders kids and hides them in her basement, which is like some strong allegation that could ruin her reputation. Things that he already said are things that are already out there. Now, about the alopecia thing, there's another thing that people are talking about where if this person's sick, you shouldn't make fun of them. You know, she has alopecia, which is basically like a female pattern baldness version of that where you're losing your hair. Even if she had cancer, if you go to the Oscars or you go to where a comedian is going to be hosting something, everything is on the table. The whole point is to be lighthearted. If I were dying and I went to a comedy sketch, I expect the comedian to make jokes about me, or I shouldn't go. I expect them to make jokes about me because it's a comedy sketch. Who goes to a comedy sketch and then gets mad, laughs at every other joke, but when the joke's on you or one of your loved ones, you're like, nope, you can't do that. It wasn't even like it was a horrible joke. Like, man, that cancer boy sure eating up your wife. Like, no, that would have been very inappropriate. That's not what he said. He's making a statement about her bald head, about the G.I. Jane, and Jada didn't find it funny. That's all. She didn't find it funny. You're at a freaking Oscars. You're at the Oscars. What are you getting upset over? And even if you didn't find it funny, Jada should have just laughed it off. The worst thing you can do is give people ammunition to keep making fun of you. Even if Will hadn't done anything, people would have seen her face and been like, sourpuss, can't take a joke. That's what I did with the bullies. People were like, oh, you know, you're this and you're this and you're that. Yep, you're right. You already know, you know me so well. And then after a while, they're just like, because there's nothing they could say as long as they're not like spreading bad rumors about me about something that could send me to jail. There's no reason to get all up in arms about it. I don't know, the whole situation's horrible. And I just feel bad for Will Smith because I'm like, what's gonna happen to him? He's gonna have to fight this whole thing now. Did something happen at home before he went to the Oscars? Did she? And then the comments were like, no, chill. They were like, Jada said, seize him, Willard. Some of the comments are freaking funny, though. I can't even... Oh, my God. It's so embarrassing. It's embarrassing that Will had to stoop to that level on Jada's behalf. There's certain battles that you should fight with your loved one or fight for them. Jada can fight this battle on her own. If she's as strong and independent as she says she is, I'm sure she would have been fine. She didn't need you to go up there, Will, and punch someone else because he made fun. He made a G.I. Jane reference because she has a buzz cut that she claims she was now proud of. life. So why are you getting upset? If you are so embracing of your bald head now, like you said, and you're proud, why are you upset when someone makes fun of you for, not even for being bald-headed, not really, he's not making fun of her directly for being bald-headed, he's just saying, hey, you're bald, you know, G.I. Jane 2 is gonna see you. He's not like, man, you're alopecia. He didn't say any of that. He probably didn't even know she had alopecia, and who cares? That's like those people who go out there, and I'm sorry if this triggers some people. Please leave now if you're easily triggered. But it's like people going around who are overweight and saying, I love my body the way it is, and then they get upset when somebody else who's overweight loses weight for themselves and is all like, oh, please, I knew she was a fake fat person. You know, look what she's doing and making me feel uncomfortable and kind of triggering me. Why are you triggered? You just said you're proud of your body and you love your fat body. Why are you triggered because somebody else loses weight? That's kind of what that's like. That's the only analogy I can get off the top of my head. It makes no freaking sense. So the whole thing is just ridiculous. And Will made an ass out of himself. He made a freaking ass out of himself. It's so embarrassing. And you can't take that back. Now there are cameras and people are going to be circulating that for a long time. It is so out of Will's character that people even are still saying it's fake because it's just not something that you'd picture Will Smith doing. It's like seeing Mr. Rogers go up and do that. But what do you guys think? I think that Chris Rock didn't do anything bad. I think that Chris Rock was completely in the right unless there's some beef going on behind that we don't know about. Is it the excuse to go up there and hit someone? No. A better, classier way would have been to pull him to the side, which still is out of pocket because, you know, it's comedy. You can't have everyone in there being made fun of and you are the only king and heir that's not supposed to be made fun of. That doesn't make any sense. But if you feel away, the classy Will Smith, the Will Smith that I know everybody knows, would have gone behind the scenes and been like, hey, can you not? This is a very sensitive issue for my wife. Or when he accepted his award, he probably would have been like, hey, I'd appreciate it if, you know, you don't talk about my wife. She has alopecia, blah, blah, blah. Still, you telling people not to talk about something is gonna what? Make them talk about it. Even though you're right. Like, you know, you should just stop talking about it. That's the best way to do it. You stop talking about it. And that will make them stop talking about it and eventually stop getting talked about. But the truth of the matter is they put themselves out there in the public eye. With all of this, she could have worn wigs. She could have worn lace fronts or what's those things that the toupee or whatever. They're things that people who have cancer can wear to make it look like they have real hair. But you embraced your bald head and that's fine. That's fine. Maybe she also wanted to get ahead of the curve in case people started speculating that because she had such long and beautiful hair before and people probably would notice it looks different. You have enough money that you can make it look real. So I don't know, maybe she just didn't want to go through that. But if that's the case, expect that people are going to be assholes and are going to say things about you. If they're poking fun at you, it's the nature of the beast. You're celebrity. It's very unfortunate. What do you guys think? Let's talk about it in the comments. Do you think Will Smith should walk away from his marriage? Do you think something else is going on? How would you have handled that better? I would have just left it alone. I would have been like, honey, it's just a joke. Okay, don't take it personally. Instead of going the whole freaking 180 and be, let me blast that guy, one punch man him to freaking Mars. That's just overkill. Something's going on with Will. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.